8 SEALs pinned in a mountain kill box. Radios dead, ammo dying. Then a lone figure crawled onto the northern ridge with an auto sniper and rewrote the odds in 10 breaths. You'll meet her now, Natasha Carter. The valley is a bowl of stone and echo, moonless, thin air, sand that bites the eyes. The SEALs move in a staggered line. No talking, just breath, grit, and tiny nods. A dusty road snakes into the ruins and dies there like a cut vein. Commander Pike checks his watch and scowls. The glass is jagged. The hands won't move. The watch is broken, same as the plan. He turns his wrist away and keeps walking. They hit the old kiln by the well and freeze. The night changes pitch, that quiet that means teeth. Metal clicks bloom from the cliffs. Muzzles blink. The first burst rakes the point man's shoulder. He drops, rolls, crawls. The ridge throws back 100 gun mouths, all hungry. The team scatters to shattered walls and knee-high berms of dust. Contact, 3 sides. Pike's voice is sandpaper. Calm. Flat. He points. 2 men cover the south slope. 2 seal the alley where the wind keeps a tally of spent casings. 1 drags the wounded to a doorway that leans like an old man. Another checks his mag and sees too much daylight. An empty wallet skids out of that man's pocket when he shifts. It lies open in the powder. No photos, no bills, no nothing. He doesn't pick it up. He knows what it means. Everything poured out of him long ago and kept pouring. Rounds chip mud brick into smoke. The air tastes like copper nails. Someone laughs up on the ridge and it's not a human sound. A mortar thumps. The shell walks the wall to splinters. The team collapses tighter. Radio? Pike asks, jammed. He nods once. That's the only permission anyone gets to be afraid. They return fire in short, studious bursts. M4s thud a classroom rhythm. Learn or die. They mark flashes. They count seconds. They give ground 1 boot at a time. The high walls here remember fire. You can feel it in the clay. You can smell it when the wind slips past your ear and says, run. The alley to the north is a throat. No one wants to be inside it, but they slide there anyway because the east is worse. A shape falls against Pike, a kid barely shaving, eyes wide and useful. Pike shoves him toward the doorway and takes the corner himself. He adjusts the broken watch again. Absurd habit like worrying a missing tooth. The night learns their names by listing them on the rocks. It throws their bullets back as dust. The enemy is patient like rain carving a road out of a hill. Each man on the ridge fires with care. No spray, no panic. They've hunted here before. A tracer crosses the alley and writes a line of orange on the doorframe an inch from Pike's jaw. He can feel the heat. He doesn't blink. Across from him, Chief Avery presses a finger to the ground. He's counting the incoming in his head. He's building a map from noise. He points with 2 knuckles, there, and the left. He mouths numbers, 10, 15, maybe more above them, waiting. The wind picks up grit and slaps their teeth. It tastes like batteries. It tastes like a story you shouldn't have told. Another mortar coughs. The shell lands too close. The doorway collapses. The wounded man is yanked free by his plate carrier. He says thanks and blood spills out with the word. The empty wallet lies in the dust between boot prints. It stares up at the sky and doesn't say a thing. Ammo? Pike asks. Low. Avery pulls a grenade from his vest and weighs it like a prayer. He doesn't throw it yet. The alley is narrow. He can't trust the bounce. On the ridge, a flare hisses to life, light as ugly as truth. The ruins bleach. The shadows jump to the wrong places. The whole world blinks. A voice crosses the rocks in a language Pike almost understands. The cadence is simple, surround, squeeze, finish it. The team breathes together. No one says this is it. No one says tell my sister anything. That kind of noise is for clean rooms and soft chairs. Here silence is the only shield left. Then far out beyond the eastern lip of the valley something winks. Not a star. Not a flare. Glass maybe. A small round glint where no glint should live. A sharper voice answers the first. It's higher, tighter, more practiced. The ridge hushes to hear it. Pike raises his broken watch to his ear. He can't help it. As if time might start again if he listens hard enough, it doesn't. The watch stays dead, but the distant glint steadies, finds its breath, and like a needle touching a record, drops a single note across the valley. A man on the enemy ridge folds without a sound. Every muzzle pauses, and a second, colder shot follows, cutting the flare string in half and kicking the night back to black. The alley exhales, and a new voice comes through the jam like a knife through cloth. Hold tight, it says. You're not alone. Then the mortar tube shifts toward that voice and the valley turns its face to kill whoever dared speak. Her name is Natasha Carter. She moves like a rumor. She crawls the spine of the northern ridge on elbows in logic. The auto sniper rides her shoulder like a vow. Not factory, not catalog, a hand-tuned creature that eats recoil and spits mercy at distance. She knows every spring by feel. She can field strip it blind and put it back together heartbeat by heartbeat. The mountain is a book with sharp pages. She reads it quickly. She marks wind by the dance of grit above a shallow crack. She marks distance by the stutter of muzzle blooms 2 valleys away. She marks danger by the way her own breath tries to leave. The glass of her scope finds a rung of stone where a spotter hides. She clicks left. She clicks down. She chooses a hair of hold and ends a conversation before it begins. The second round cuts the flare and gives the night back to men who need shadows more than air. Hold tight, she says again, smaller now because the jammer wakes and chews her voice. Her watch is broken too. Not the same as Pike's, but close enough to sting. Natasha carries it not for time. She carries it because it stopped in another country at a stupid hour while a friend bled into her hands. The glass cracked on a doorway lintel when she kicked through. She never fixed it. Some things shouldn't be cleaned. There is an empty wallet in her pack. No cash, a dog-eared train ticket, a receipt with a smeared name. She keeps it because it reminds her why she doesn't keep much. The dusty road below runs to the kiln where the seals crouch. It shines like bone under the moon, then goes dull when a cloud drifts. She notes the curvature. She notes where tires once cut it and left a shallow groove. Good for stabilizing a tripod foot if she has to drop near zero and fight flat. The valley pushes back. 3 mortars pivot to her side of the world. That means they saw a spark or guessed too well. She doesn't flinch. She shifts downhill 6 body lengths, pulls the rifle in with her sling and paints her outline with stone. The first shell walks 30 yards high and right. She times the second by the sound of the tube. When it thumps, she's already moving. The shell hits where she was. Rock dust plasters her hair to her forehead. Pebbles drum the rifle stock. The third shell lands shallow and kicks smoke as a curtain. She uses the curtain. She uses everything. She drags, plants, breathes, fires. 3 quick stitches that unmake a mortar team. The tube clatters. The hillside goes quiet there. The jammer gnaws her radio. She swaps channels and gets only snow. Fine. She didn't come here to talk. Below, the seals shift. She keeps half her barrel on them, not to aim, but to promise, go, I see you. She shifts again. New angle, new math. A machine gun nests in a bowl of rock with a field of fire like a god. She studies the feeder's shoulder. She studies the gunner's hands. She takes the feeder first. The belt spills. The gunner slaps the top cover and fumbles. She gives him a small mercy by making sure he never makes the same mistake twice. A figure on the far ridge realizes what she is and decides to be brave. He slides low with an old rifle and good eyes. He uses a boulder to cut his silhouette and peeks with care. She sees him because the mountain tells her he's there. Not sight, not sound. Just the way the dust drifts wrong for a breath. She puts a hole in the wrongness. 2 trucks at the valley mouth idle like wolves considering a pen. She knows the smell of their diesel even from here. The drivers wait for a radio word. They balance fear with duty. She tips the scale with a hard shot to a radiator, then an easy one to a tire. The first truck sours. The second blinks and reverses into a ditch. Now the ridge hates her personally. It aims for her ribcage. She hears a shout that could be an order or a curse. Either way, more accurate fire starts walking toward her. She drags the sling tight and becomes a chip of the mountain. The auto sniper's bolt slides like silk. Her hand is cut and doesn't notice. The trigger is a clean break, a promise kept. She fires until the ridge forgets to be brave. The radio coughs. A voice smashes through for half a second. Whoever you are, keep that high side. Then it dies in static. She nods into the dark as if the words can see her. The dusty road tries to lure her toward an easier angle. Down there she could cut left and find a shallow ledge with a better view of the eastern spur. She doesn't take it. Roads here are hooks. She watches where they pull. Someone on the enemy's western line figures out her solution set and moves to change the question. A team of 3 starts climbing to flank her. They're careful. They don't talk. They take their time. Good climbers. Chalk on fingers. Knives tucked where eyes don't look. Natasha lets them climb until she can hear skin on stone. She has maybe 10 seconds before the first head lifts. She tastes the granite dust. She counts to 8. The head rises at 9. She squeezes once. The second climber throws a knife out of anger, not hope. The blade lands near her knee and trembles. She smiles without joy. A machine gun opens from the east and the valley explodes again, louder than before. Trucks begin to move. The wolves were never waiting. They were timing. She looks down the line of the dusty road. Fresh tracks, fresh decisions. This is about to get worse. The trucks come in ugly, fast. A 12.7 sings an angry hymn and carves sparks from the kiln wall. Natasha counts the beat between bursts. She reads the gunner's fear in the pauses. She drops him on the third breath. The weapon swivels on a dead man's hips and falls silent. That buys the team below 20 heartbeats. Not time, not safety. Just 20 heartbeats to move 10 yards and pull one more man behind a slab that used to be a roof. Natasha checks her mag by touch. She hears the spring, the rattle, the truth. She's not dry, but she can see dry from here. On the alley floor, the empty wallet flips in the grit when the pressure wave from a near miss punches the air. It lands open again. Its owner doesn't look. He's busy making small work of a big corner with a borrowed grenade. Pike points with 2 fingers and 3 cuts on his knuckles. North lip, he mouths to Avery. The chief nods and rolls. Natasha tracks his roll through the scope for a second as if she can shield him with seeing. The jammer buckles. Her radio blips. Angel, if you can hear, mark targets. 30 seconds we push. Angel. She doesn't like call signs, but she takes this one because it's easier than arguing. She clicks her mic twice, no words. Light and rhythm are more reliable than speech. She pulls a marker from her kit, a smoke with a faint green burn. She can't waste it. She wants to show them a safe line and lie to the enemy at the same time. She throws it low, skips it off a stone, and watches the little ghost roll where she wants men to live. The green smear threads between muzzle flashes like a wire. The auto sniper is built for long chapters. Tonight needs short sentences. She flips a setting, accepts the faster cycle, and leans into recoil. 3 quick shots start and finish 3 arguments at the mouth of an alley. A 4th shot cracks a man's jaw as he shouts for a flanking team that will never arrive. The dusty road becomes a river of feet. Reinforcements stream in from the western notch, 2 by 2, shouting low and meaning it. So many boots, so many plans slung in sacks. She sees the one who matters because he carries nothing and looks everywhere. Not a fighter, a herder. He lifts a handset, says one word, and the whole valley bends toward it. Natasha centers his mouth in her crosshairs. She hesitates a breath. Not for mercy, for math. She doesn't want the network to cut off and scatter. She wants it headless and stunned. She puts 1 round through his shoulder, lets him scream, and lets that sound jam half their orders. Below, Pike taps helmets and points men into the green ribbon she laid. They move like cautious electricity. Avery covers the rearmost step and grins when a round takes a bite from a wall and the wall spits it back. A rocket comes in flat and wrong. Bad shooter. Lucky trajectory. It clips the corner where the kid crouches. The kid blinks and sees a different world for a moment. Pike yanks him by his plate and slaps him back into this one. Natasha tracks the rocket's smoke back to a burned truck. She remembers a track line she saw an hour ago when the wind sat differently. She buries a round into the shadow behind the wheel well. Someone there won't ask another question. A shape moves at the edge of her scope. Climber again. She almost smiles. Repeat a problem, get a faster solution. The first man peeks and dies. The second decides he is smarter and tries the long way around. He is not. The auto sniper's barrel gleams, then darkens as dust claims it. Natasha wipes it once with the edge of a sleeve that used to be whole. Her broken watch clicks against the handguard and leaves a little glass dust behind. Time cuts you even when it's dead. Her radio coughs a name. Angel? She clicks once. She doesn't waste words. Evac is 10 out if jamming clears. We need that road. She looks at the dusty road and feels the trap beating under it like a drum. She can clear it. She can also light everyone on it so bright the ridge won't have to aim. Choices are knives. She picks one that cuts her and saves someone else. She uses the road. She paints it with green smoke and a jagged line that isn't straight enough to please a machine gunner. She breaks the enemy's sight picture by making their certainty wobble. She shoots the one with the steadiest hands and lets the others tremble a little more. Then the valley changes its mind. A child runs. Too small, too fast, bare feet. He sprints from a doorway with a satchel clenched like a secret. He runs toward the trucks, not the seals. He runs toward a voice that promises coins. Natasha's jaw tightens. It's not a bomb. She can tell by weight and fear. It's something else. A lure, a lens. The satchel opens. A mirror glints. The trucks adjust their guns to the glint, not the men. She shoots the mirror. The glint dies. The boy drops the satchel and bolts sideways. Someone yells at him. Someone aims at his small back. She moves the scope an inch. She does the only thing she can that won't kill a soul she has no quarrel with. She shoots the shooter's ankle. The boy disappears behind a cart. The trucks hesitate just long enough for Pike to shove his team into the last fold of cover before the final sprint. Then Avery goes still. Not hurt, not scared. Still like a man who has seen an animal step behind the person he loves. In Natasha's scope, a blade rises behind Pike's shoulder. No gunshot will reach in time. She has 1 round on this breath. She can choose the blade behind Pike or the turret swinging toward the kid. She splits the difference in a way no school teaches. First, the blade. She aims not for the hand, not for the steel, but for a ghost of space an inch ahead of the wrist. She leads the motion. She writes a line the knife will cross and lets the knife meet her round like a moth meeting glass. Steel flies. The wrist splits. Pike spins. He doesn't waste the gift. He finishes the man who wanted his shadow. Second, the gun. She drops the scope 3 degrees and finds the belt of light that a turret always pulls when it hunts. She tracks the arc, not the muzzle, and breaks the arc at the pivot. The turret coughs itself to silence. The gunner blinks at metal that won't obey. She doesn't breathe. She won't until the kid is gone from her view. He is gone. Now she breathes. The valley hates her with discipline now. It stops being angry and starts being cold. Fire from the east settles into a metronome. Mortars find a new math. A sniper with a decent rifle scratches the rock near her cheek and reminds her she isn't special. Natasha shifts left, skinning her thigh on shale. She tastes iron. The auto sniper hums with heat. She buries the muzzle for a second in a little pile of powder to bring the temperature down. The dust sifts in. She taps the tube. It coughs and clears. She murmurs thanks to things no one sees. Below, Pike checks men by touch. Helmets, shoulders, eyes. His broken watch ticks in his head even if it won't on his wrist. It says move. It says move now. Avery picks up the empty wallet between bursts and jams it into the owner's vest. Keep it, he mouths. The man nods like he understands. Natasha notices the gesture and files it with the other human things she refuses to forget. Memory is a weight she carries and a weapon when she needs it. The dusty road is half theirs now. The other half is a reaper's grin. A machine gun opens from a ruin with a collapsed corner. It chews the green ribbon of smoke and blows it apart like a lie. Men flatten, hate waiting. She can't see the gunner. The wall hides the mouth. She can see the small ripple of disturbed dust 10 inches above where the barrel must be. A breath's worth of feedback from the shock wave. She aims at the ripple. The first round takes brick. The second round finds breath. The ripple stops. The radio smears a voice into her ear. 8 out. 8 is both nothing and forever. Something skitters on the stone at her back. She turns the rifle fast, too fast, and the sling bites. A climber's boot slips and showers her with grit. He grabs for purchase and finds her boot sole. He is 5 feet below her and wants to pull her down into a hug that ends in knives. She lets the sling take the rifle's weight and draws her sidearm with the hand that's already bleeding. The climber's eyes are bright and mean. She doesn't shoot them. She shoots the rock where his hand clings. His grip fails. He falls through his own grunt and vanishes. The sound takes a long time to die. When she turns back, the rifle is gone. It slid while she drew. It slid 3 inches, then 6, then 9, then kissed the edge of the world and thought about jumping. Now it hangs by a strap on a hook of stone the size of a tooth. She doesn't swear. She pushes breath out. She flattens, worms, reaches. The strap sighs. The hook says maybe. The valley shoots at her back and makes her spine cold. Her fingertips find nylon. She doesn't pull. She nudges. She makes the rifle curious, not afraid. She coaxes it up like you coax a kid out from under a table where he's hiding from thunder. It comes back, inch by stubborn inch. The hook lets go like it meant to all along. She gets the sling under her palm and then around her wrist and rolls with it, cradling it like something breakable. Her broken watch kisses the handguard again. A little glass falls into the trigger guard. She blows it out gently. It obeys. She laughs, a sound even she barely recognizes. 6 out. The trucks roar again. 1 limps with a punctured lung. 1 is fresh and full of teeth. Its gunner is better than the last. He leads, he waits, he punishes anyone who assumes.